Okay, we have seen some selling in Salesforce right now. The company is raising its revenue forecast, and it looks as though its artificial intelligence agent product is boosting revenue. And let's get more from Pat Walravens, head of technology equity research at Citizens. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We are seeing CRM down a bit today. Why do you think the market is slightly disappointed?
Right. Well, first of all, Andrew, thank you for having me. Yeah, I was down about 5% when I last checked. The quarter was fine. You know, they beat on most metrics, but the reasons that it's trading off a little bit, I think, are number one, just big picture. This company grew 8% last quarter, right? And, 2 years ago, that was 11, and 3 years ago, it was 18. Mm-hmm. So, right, the pieces aren't all coming together yet. And then the second big reason is that with the shift to AI agents, Salesforce is in a big transition, right? So they have to transition the way they sell, the way they deliver products. They have to transition from selling seat licenses to clouds to having people actually consume the agents. And that's requiring them to make a lot of changes that are going to take some time.
And people, I think, are worried about possible indigestion on integrations. I mean, they announced that deal to buy Informatica at $8 billion, and they have a bunch of other acquisitions that they're integrating.
Yeah, so $8 billion sounds like a lot, right? This will be Salesforce's third largest acquisition in its history. So they paid more for a company called Slack. They paid more for a company called Tableau. But this is a big one. And remember, Salesforce got in a little bit of trouble a few years back with all their acquisitions, and they had activists come in and push the company to really get their operating margins up and run more efficiently. So this is Salesforce now dipping its toe back in the water in terms of this Informatica deal. I will say this, Mark Benioff has wanted to buy this company for a long time. They looked at it a year ago, and you can see there's some headlines about that. And at the time, the stock, they probably would have had to pay north of $40. Now they're paying $25. Mm-hmm. So his patience is rewarded. It will help a lot with Agentforce. And I can explain why in a second if you like, but owning Informatica will help a lot with Agentforce. But these things are slow. This deal won't close for a year.
So that's interesting. So there will be paperwork and moving people over, et cetera. And just remind us, what is this AI agent? I mean, I think of Salesforce, I would hire them, buy their software to help me deal with my customers. So how is AI helping there?
Right. So historically, where Salesforce started was with the Sales Cloud. So giving tools to all your salespeople to sell things. And then they went to the Service Cloud. So giving tools to help your customer support agents support the customers. Where they're moving now is having pieces of software that we call AI agents that basically could do the job that a human would do, or at least would do parts of a job that a human would do. One great example that I love is, if you've ever stayed in a Marriott, right, or really any hotel, and you want a late checkout, that is something that you shouldn't have to get someone on the phone for, or have to go downstairs to the front desk for. It should be very easy for an AI agent to say, okay, Mr. Walravens wants to check out tomorrow at 3 o'clock, right? He is a platinum. Who's coming to this room? Oh, Andrew's coming to the room. What's Andrew's status? Oh, Andrew's a titanium. What time does Andrew want to check in? He wants to check in at 2 o'clock. Sorry, Mr. Walravens, you can't have the late checkout, right? So that was 5 different pieces of data that had to be pulled out of a system somewhere in order to complete that late checkout request process. Mm-hmm. And that's the sort of thing that Salesforce is looking to automate, not just across hotels, but hotels and airlines and manufacturing companies, right? All these little areas where humans used to have to do it before, where now a piece of software can do it for you.
That's interesting. Yeah, we all know, well, when you check in at an airline or you're checking out of a hotel, the poor employee has to peck away at the computer. I feel sorry for them. Yeah. Why don't they just automate that stuff?
Exactly.
Who would?
If you look around today, by the way, if I can just point something out, there's another stock that much smaller market cap, but C3 AI, when I last checked, I think was up 30%, right? And that's Tom Siegel's company, which is also in this enterprise AI space. And so if you look at the two differences, well, why is one up so much and the other one down a little bit? Something like a C3 AI is more of a pure play. They don't have to transition, right? They're already there.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's stuck up almost 30%. And sorry, what is the catalyst for C3 AI today? Just the numbers.
Well, they just grew 25% organically, again, versus 8% at Salesforce. They have a partnership with Microsoft that seems to be really kicking in, where their salespeople are going to market with Microsoft to help sell enterprise applications. And then also the founder and CEO of C3 AI, a gentleman named Thomas Siebel, disclosed some health concerns on the last conference call 3 months ago, and it seems like those have improved. So you put all those things together, high growth, the right market, and the health of the founder, and you get a nice move in the stock.
And of course, military aircraft are famous for being out of service. They used to call the old F-14 Tomcat the hangar queen, but they've just renewed a deal with the U.S. Air Force on maintenance of aircraft, C3 AI, and they say that'll improve the availability by up to 25%. So you can imagine that's a complex process, knowing where the parts are.
Where the parts are they at the airbase that your plane is at? Yes. Right? Which parts is most likely to fail next, and where will that airplane be? Can we make sure that we have those parts in stock where the airplane will be? Those are all great problems to solve with AI.
Pat, thank you very much indeed. Pat Walravens, Head of Technology Equity Research at Citizens.